Well, everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the iPhone 13 and compare it against the iPhone 13 Pro in 2022 and see which specific phone you should go and pick up. Now, I feel like I've done this comparison too late, but still better late than never. Again, if you want to pick up these phones, the links will be down in the description. You can get them from there. You can help support the channel at the same time. Now, side by side, you can definitely tell there are a lot of similarities for sure. On the iPhone 13, this panel, this phone came out 2021, so did this iPhone, and both these phones were really good at the time. The iPhone 13 has a 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED panel, and it is a pretty good display. It's 60 Hz, had so many apps open, and overall, it still holds up very well. The dark pixels get deep black. I think we all know this by now. It is 60 Hz, but it's still a very smooth feeling 60 Hz display, and overall, I think it still looks very good. I think it's still a very, very beautiful phone when it comes down to it. Now with the iPhone 13 Pro, this phone has kind of the same size display, so it's 6.1 inches as well, but this one is a ProMotion display. It's definitely one of my favorite panels that I've ever used on a phone, which I'm really happy about, and it's 120 Hz, so it's definitely a better panel for sure than the iPhone 13. You are getting a way better screen, but also this phone is way heavier and it feels like a way more expensive phone because it is a way more expensive phone. This one came out at $799, this one was at $999, and now the prices have to appreciate a little bit more, but they're still about $200 off, so it's probably a thing to keep in mind. In terms of the rest of the body, there's actually a lot of differences. So if we go ahead and zoom in, you can kind of see that the iPhone on the side, they're both flat-sided, which is nice, but you can see that the iPhone 13 Pro has this metallic side, kind of a reflective side. The iPhone 13 is just aluminum. It's pretty much the same thing we have in the iPhone 14s. So I'm really happy they make the more expensive ones feel more expensive. The buttons are in the same spot. Both have SIM card trays, but they are in different spots. I just realized that. That's very interesting. On the bottom, they both have lightning ports as well as their speaker grills, which is cool. And on the back, we have a very interesting setup as well. So we have a triple camera setup on the iPhone 13 Pro. On the iPhone 13, we have a dual camera setup. So both these phones I think are still very premium. I don't have anything against these phones in that standpoint, but I will say when it comes down to it, the iPhone 13 Pro with the frosted glass back just looks and feels so premium. It is crazy to me. This is like my main phone that I use on an everyday basis right now, and this phone just feels so premium, and I love that kind of feeling from that type of device. The iPhone 13, the standard glass back still feels pretty good, but you're definitely getting a way better feeling phone on the iPhone 13 Pro. Otherwise than that though, the features are pretty much the same. Wireless charging, MagSafe capability, 5G, dual SIM, half physical SIM, half eSIM kind of thing. And overall, still feel very, very premium. I love both these phones for 100% fact. Now, outside of these two phones, I guess the software department is the only other thing that's kind of the bigger difference. And from my experience, you're not really going to be noticing a difference here at all. They both have the same chipsets inside. So because of that, you're going to be getting the same long-lasting phone on both of these, which is great. In the battery life department, I have heard that the iPhone 13 could potentially give you better battery life than the 13 Pro, and I 100% agree with that. I've used these phones for about a year and some change now, and from every test I've done, the iPhone 13 Pro is always kind of a little bit less in the battery life department than the iPhone 13, and the main reason for that is because of the iPhone 13 Pro's, ProMotion display. Because of that 120 Hz panel that's constantly going through, you're pretty much going to be getting a phone that is, the best way to put it, I think, is always pretty much going to be at a 120 Hz and sucking up more battery life from that display. So that's kind of the best way to put it, but otherwise though, they're both going to be giving good battery life, and I don't have anything against either one of these phones. Now let's go and do speed comparison. The iPhone 13 Pro has that Apple A15 Bionic chip inside of it with 6 gigabytes of RAM, where the iPhone 13 has that Apple A15 Bionic chip inside of it with 4 gigabytes of RAM. So let's go and see which one's the faster one between both. Okay, there we go. All the apps are in the background. 13 is here, 13 Pro is here. Let's load up their app stores. 3, 2, 1. Okay, very interesting stuff. That was a way bigger difference than I originally thought it was going to happen. Scrolling through, let's see if there's a big difference here. Kind of looks to me that, yeah, I don't know why the 13 is being so glitchy here and so slow. Both of them are connected to the same Wi-Fi. Both of them are up to date for the most part. So very interesting stuff there. Now, as always, I have a bunch of these third-party applications we can go and open up. So let's get into it. Netflix, 3, 2, 1. 13 Pro actually is the faster one there, surprisingly. Quizlet, which I don't even have here, which is very weird. Let's go and get into drop. I do have 3, 2, 1. Again, 13 Pro is the faster one. Dropbox, 3, 2, 1. Okay, 13 Pro again. This one didn't load the image here. Very, very weird. Maybe it could be glitches from the application, I don't know. Snake Force Blocks, 3, 2, 1. There we go. The iPhone 13 Pro, again is the faster one here as well. Let's go into thank you, 3, 2, 1. And you can see the iPhone 13 again is the faster one, followed by the iPhone 13 Pro right after it. BOFA, 3, 2, 1. A little bit of a glitch clicking it on the iPhone 13 Pro, and a little bit of a difference here as well. So the 13 did actually get that one in, which is nice. Let's go and get into Temple Run, the original one, 3, 2, 1. Now we can see right here, the iPhone 13 did load into it faster, but the 13 Pro was already in a game, so we kind of have to let this one go. Let's go and load up another one, which we can try doing Genshin Impact. I don't think I have Genshin Impact here. We can try Temple Run 2, but it doesn't look like I have that game either, which is very weird. Stack, 3, 2, 1. But I will tell you also, for me, using these phones for the last few years, or last year and a half, I definitely do think that both these phones do a great job in the performing standpoint, and I don't really think one is a way better performing phone than the other one. I think both of them have done a great job. I like my 13 Pro, but the 13 Pro is going to feel like a faster phone. That was really crazy with the RAM kind of going through already. The iPhone 13, for it being, I guess, a 60 hertz display phone, can cause a little bit of like a few differences here and there, but I actually do like my 13 Pro a lot, and I will say both these phones are great performing phones. The 13 Pro is probably the better one, but I think the iPhone 13 still does a pretty decent job as well. So, in that standpoint, thumbs up for me. Now with the camera department, this is a really big difference. So both these phones have really good cameras, but the iPhone 13 Pro, wide ultra-wide telephoto lens, triple camera setup, 13 wide and ultra-wide camera. As you can kind of see as well, the camera lenses seem like a little bit bigger on the 13 Pro, which is always nice. I like having a bigger lens for sure. Now, both have 4K 60 on the front and the back, which is nice. I think the iPhone 13's camera was really good. When it first came out, it did a great job, and it still is a pretty decent camera. I don't know why my camera is stuck at a black screen. That is very strange. That's never happened before. And it looks like the whole entire phone is glitching up now. But this camera historically has been pretty good for sure. I've had great times with this camera overall, and that was something that's really nice. I don't know what that glitch was about, but when I use a phone like the iPhone 13's phone, very good. I think the camera is still good. You have cinematic mode, you have standard portrait mode, video mode, photo mode, all this good stuff. It is a very good camera, and I do think it holds up very well. It's so weird though that the phone is glitching up this much. As you can see, the gestures aren't even working. So if I go and click here, that is so weird. I don't even know what's going on with this phone. With the 13 Pro, so this phone I haven't really had to experience all those glitches, but we still have cinematic mode, we still have slow mode, we have, portrait mode, but you have that telephoto lens. So on the iPhone 13, you can only zoom in 5x. With the iPhone 13 Pro, you can do 15x zoom, which is amazing. So having that extra zooming in capability is really cool. And as I mentioned before, that is probably one of my favorite highlights of this specific device. So at the end of the day, when you kind of look at the iPhone 13 Pro and you look at the iPhone 13, which specific phone should you go and pick up? Well, as I kind of mentioned before, I think getting a phone like an iPhone 13 Pro is a no-brainer. I think this phone is still going to be here for many, many more years, and this is not a phone you're going to buy today and just forget about. This is a phone you're going to get today and you can use for a long period of time. And that is definitely one of the biggest assets of the iPhone 13 Pro. I look at a phone like the iPhone 13 and I think this is a great phone if for some reason you don't want to, if you can't find an iPhone 13 Pro around you, if they're not available, and or if the price tag is too high in the used market, then I can recommend the iPhone 13. But the thing is, the 13 is available in the brand new market at, I believe, $699. So it's a little bit more available. But if you can, I would just recommend going for the 13 Pro. It's definitely going to be the better phone in pretty much every single area. So that pretty much covers it up. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.